I feel, and I think everyone would agree with me over here, that we are still going through the pandemic. Don't you all agree? Yes, so well, as we've already seen in the last year as well, that innovation is now no more just an option. It's not just about the products or the services. It has also now evolved to be all about the way the consumer really behaves today. And our next set of panelists would like to discuss and dive into what are the new age business ideas for the 21st century. Please welcome on stage with a huge round of applause. We have with us Arnab Sinha, founder and CEO, Uclean. Very warm welcome, sir. Joining in, we have with us Varun Gupta, founder and CEO, Zorgans. Very warm welcome, sir. We also have with us today Ashraf Biran, founder, director, Wellness Forever. And I would like to call up on stage our session moderator, Shahrukh Lamba. Very warm welcome to all of you. The session will now begin.
Hi, good evening everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so I know this is the last session and you must be thinking that it should get over at the earliest possible, but I'm sure I'll try to make it very interesting. As you know, the pandemic has changed the way the businesses work. The retail industry is going through a transformation where new and innovative ways of doing businesses are growing. And one such example which Ritu discussed in the morning was of IKEA. They have recently come up with their small format stores. So we have our esteemed panelists who are here. Let us discuss about their businesses, how they are innovating it, what are their new ideas, and what are the franchising models they are going ahead with their businesses. So we'll start with Arunab first. Can you please share the insights?
Am I audible? Yeah, so my name is Arunab and I'm the founder of a company called Uclean. Uclean, our journey started about 5 years back, and we are in the business of, or we are on a mission to organize the highly unorganized but the very large laundry and dry cleaning industry. And how we are trying to do this is we are setting up a chain of what I would call hyper-local neighborhood stores. And then these stores are equipped with the machinery, with the manpower and with the technology to basically service customers that are typically living within 2 to 3 kilometer radius of the store and cater to a very basic human need, which is the requirement for laundry, dry cleaning and all other forms of cleaning services that a typical Indian household or a small B2B setup like a restaurant or a salon requires. We started off with Delhi NCR when we opened our first store almost 5 years back. And within the first 6 months of starting our first outlet, what we quickly realized was that this is one business where you can very quickly partner with another entrepreneur. You can enable them, you can empower them, and you can equip them to run their own successful business. And that is when we thought that this is a business that is absolutely cut out for franchising. So we started franchising almost 4 years back. And while the first few franchisees actually also became the training ground for us. So we learned a lot from them in terms of the kind of expectations that a potential franchisee would have, the kind of challenges that they would face. But very soon we were able to develop what I call a playbook of sorts, through which we were able to answer most of the questions that a potential franchisee would have. And that paid off for us. So in the last 4 years, we have about 275 franchisees across 72 cities of India. We are in fact the largest, by far the largest laundry and dry cleaning chain in India. We are amongst the top 5 largest laundry chains globally. And I would say everything was going pretty smoothly. And then we all got confronted with COVID. So what we realized during COVID was that a couple of very interesting things were happening. One was that in the last 1.5 years, we realized that a lot of new customers were suddenly getting added. And we started receiving these reports from across India. All our franchisees started talking about this sudden influx of a large number of customers that were absolutely new. So what we did was we started talking to them, and basis multiple rounds of conversation, what we realized was this entire inflow of customers that was happening because of COVID. So what COVID did was it created a strong sense of panic and fear. And unfortunately, our biggest competition, even today, which is the local Dhobi, did not have answers to those questions. So customers started demanding transparency. Customers started demanding to see where the clothes are getting washed, how are they getting washed, what kind of chemicals, what kind of water is being used. And because these customers, when they were not able to find these answers with the local Dhobi, they started migrating to branded chains like UP. So in that sense, while not the right thing to say, but I would say that COVID has been a blessing in disguise for the organized laundry industry. But what we also realized was that the franchisees, because most of them had invested their lifetime of savings in starting a UP, they were also looking for bigger returns. And that is when we thought that maximization of real estate is something that could be explored. So if you look at a typical UP laundry setup, you would see that it's about 300 square feet in area, out of which about 200 square feet is where you have the machines, the storage area, the chemicals area, and the rest 100 square feet I would say is a variable area. So sometimes you have the clothes there, sometimes you have the manpower there, and a lot of stuff that happens. So that's when we decided that there is an opportunity to put in a complementing business, which would not be an added financial burden for the franchisee, but could become an additional revenue garner. So around mid of last year, when COVID was at its peak, we partnered with FedEx, and this is the second time in their history that FedEx has actually partnered with another brand to develop a co-franchising format. So prior to us, Walmart was the only company which was doing co-franchising with FedEx. And we realized that this is an opportunity which we could also cash into. FedEx liked the idea. It was a very long, the convincing process stretched for almost 4 months. But they realized that our format or the UP stores are ideally also suited as a FedEx counter, where FedEx can take up 50 square feet of space, and the same franchisee team can be trained on managing FedEx operations, and they can also start offering courier and delivery services from within the UP outlet. So today in India, UP is the only partner for FedEx, where every existing franchisee of UP also gets to offer FedEx franchisee at absolutely zero cost. And this has started paying off very well. The franchisees are very excited. And in fact, we have decided another co-franchising opportunity that we are launching in the next couple of weeks, where I think most of us heard about Bounce EV bikes. So now we are also going to be having these electric charging batteries. The model that Bounce works on is battery swapping. So if you have an electric vehicle, you can drive it to a Uclean store, and Uclean store would have these bike swapping centers, so you can return your exhausted battery, and we would be giving out a new Bounce battery, and every franchisee would be making a money out of every battery that is swapped. So one thing that we have done and we have realized is that we need to accelerate the return curve or the ROI curve for every franchise partner, and fortunately our hyperlocal neighborhood locations allows us to partner with complementing brands and help our franchisees maximize their real estate.
We would like to know about your business as well.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Varun Gupta and I am founder and director with Zoggers Healthcare. So I think सारे जो इस रूम में बैठे हैं, so somewhere down the line, any one of them might be thinking about parents or grandparents back at home who might be needing some kind of a care on a day-to-day basis. So I think my line of business is all about ensuring the right care is being rendered to each and every dependent elder and a bedridden patient. So it's all about improving the quality of life for such individuals. You know, who today when we see India, we are right now a young generation, but for at this point in time also 10 to 11% of population for now is like elder, and by 2030 we are going to talk about the number which is a minimum 25 to 28% which will be a geriatric, like an old age kind of a population. So all those people are going to look for a lot of, you know, nursing care support or a great medical assistance at home. So talking about the COVID, as Arnab was sharing his journey, so I think for us we all that the way the second wave that behaved in India, I think during that time it was so difficult to get a hospital bed at home. So we are very proud that we have helped almost 1,000 plus minimum families get recovered better at home. 1,000 is an absolute I'm talking about, where the physical healthcare has been delivered in the form either a qualified nurse taking care of a COVID family or some kind of a medical equipment being supplied. Plus, we would also talk about a minimum of 10,000 plus such families where it was, you know, not a critical case or level 2 or level 3, or I would say not an advanced state of chronic management was happening, COVID management, but more like a telemonitoring was happening. So because we were tied up with government of Punjab, government of Haryana in order to ensure that we are providing all possible support at home. So I think besides the fact that we have almost supported 30,000 plus families till date across the areas of old age kind of a care to a patient care. When we say a patient care, it is all about various disease segments. So whether you talk about a neuro patient like a stroke kind of a thing, or general old age in the form of Alzheimer, dementia, Parkinson kind of diseases, or even if there is a cancer patient at home, so our services for each and every individual, like it is as good as not going to a hospital and getting all possible hospital equivalent support at home. Of course, barring a very critical element of a surgery or a high level of critical care where really you need a hospital bed. So in a country like India, which where the healthcare or a doctor's to patient ratio in any ways is so poor and it is improving each day, I would say, I think we are very feel proud that we are helping in that cause, right? So we are ensuring that most of your ailments, especially I would say the post-hospital kind of a care, so it is optimizing the hospital inventory, right? So you're getting all possible care at home. And adding to that the point of an old age kind of a care, so this is where if you think about an element, for example, the affordable, we all are getting, India is getting affluent, right? So I would say the purchasing power has increased, but the time has decreased. So today we don't have a time to sit with our parents, grandparents. It's a reality, right? So, we all are busy in our lives. But at the same time, we can't say that we don't have a money, right? So we still have money where if we would like to, provide some kind of assistance to all our parents or any loved one, and especially when there is a medical situation. So Zorgas has all been about that. So I think the biggest proud moment that we feel for ourselves is that to create the first time in India that we have created a workforce to be technically called as caregivers, right? So I think there is नॉर्मली हम लोग कंफ्यूज करते हैं केयर टेकर वर्ड यूज़ करते हैं या नर्स वर्ड यूज़ करते हैं आई थिंक इन आर केस द बिगेस्ट प्राउड मोमेंट इज टू कॉल समबडी एज अ केयर गिवर एंड आई वुड टेल यू दैट it is not that the traditional manpower which was already available in a hospital framework or let's say working in a clinic. So we have identified, I think the hiring process which we have done is very clearly mapped to the idea of finding the people who are really compassionate, right? So people who want to work primarily for a cause and of course wanting it as a profession, right? Caregiver क्या है कि मेरे आप में से कोई भी हो सकता है, right? It doesn't depend. अब हम लोग अपनी घरों की भी बात करें, if I am taking care of even my kid, right? If I have some affection for my kid or my mother or my grandmother, father, all of us are caregivers. So that's called as a family caregiving. So the moment somebody decides to become a professional caregiver, like I want to develop it as a profession, so that is called as a professional caregiving. So I think the 4500 लोगों की हम लोग ये बात कर रहे हैं, these are absolute those set of people who have first time in, not I would say at least 70% of them are the first time who have started doing this profession in India just out of compassion, right? So this is the biggest, I think, the proud thing that we have. Coming to the medical equipment side of the story, so while our model is largely, I would say 60-70% towards the healthcare professional or people-centric, we also have a great degree of medical equipment support at home. Things like a patient bed, walker, wheelchair, or things like even a BiPAP, CPAP. आई थिंक जिन लोगों ने कोविड को बहुत अच्छे से विटनेस किया है और घर में अगर थोड़ा सा भी मेडिकल सिचुएशन बना था, so we all know the things like oxygen concentrator which has become the talk of town, oxygen cylinder. In some situations we do manage even a complete ICU setups at home. So our services from an end consumer point of view are as low as I would say $500 to as high as 15-20,000 a day. Like somebody who really needs an absolute version of an ICU at home would something be like 15-20,000. So now talking about the franchise journey, so I think this particular line of business is highly hyper local, highly cultural driven kind of a thing. So while as Zorgers we have with all our experience of last 8 years, so what we realized, especially during the COVID time, what was happening in the COVID. I think we were getting calls from all across India. So I can't say about myself. Maybe people who were national players also, they were also flooded with the calls. So when we realized that situation that we have already developed a model, and by the time we were already at that time we were serving almost 5 cities and 2 states, which was Punjab and Haryana predominantly. Then we started adding Himachal onto kitty. By now we have 10 cities, 3 states. 6 of them are like company owned and 4 are it's largely a franchise model. So the idea was pretty clear that we have a technology, we have a process know-how, we have a vision which is very clear. All we were looking for is the right partners. So franchise for us is someone who is at least committed for a cause, right? So when we look for a franchise partner, we tell them about an element of a social entrepreneurship, right? So while this is for-profit business without a doubt, but at the same time, the real success lies in somebody who has a social entrepreneurship model in mind. I would say people who want to bring happiness to somebody who's a dependent elder or a patient at home, wanting to improve their life on a day-to-day basis, and also excited by the idea of creating so many jobs, right? Because Hindustan में आज की डेट में कम से कम नहीं तो if we talk about number, it is 10 million caregivers are required, right? और जो आज की डेट में जो actual हम caregiver बोल सकते हैं, not calling the hospital nurses as a caregivers for now, so that number is not more than 10,000. So it's a long journey to be traversed, and that's only possible when we are looking at a local champion. So franchise को जो हमारा support मिलता है, so it is all about, I would say, managing a team, which we only help them finding. See the entire, the AI or the domain knowledge that we have developed. So we pass that in our recruitment or the psychological process that how to hire, who is the right fit for people. So recruitment assistance is one part, technology they get from us, then in the form of all the bigger hospital tie-ups they get, right? The complete online lead generation they get. So then I would say, anything and everything to do with a corporate part of the business or the technology is something that we bring on the table. And all what is expected from a local partner is to manage this team well, the local resources, and secondly they are supposed to do a good licensing with a local doctor or hospital, right, and the medical equipment management. So that's what we're looking at a franchise partners. And I think going again by an example of a COVID for one of the Ahmedabad partner, I think the guy who took our franchisee, the timing was so perfect for him in the month of April that he recovered in the 1.5 months. The complete ROI, was done in 1.5 months. So I think we should not take it as a reference case, but yes, I think all I'm talking about is the healthcare is a very big potential in a country like India. There are huge gaps to be addressed. So we find it as a right opportunity that way.
Yeah, but as far as I can understand, yours is a D2C business where you're very close to your consumer. So how being very close to your consumer has helped you understand your customers better and serve them in a better way?
So I think when we look at our kind of a business model. So we have something called as consumer and a buyer, right? So consumer of our services is generally somebody, right now, most of the time this is somebody who's like 65 plus kind of a population in India, right? Definitely when we talk about the patient side of the story, we definitely have all the diaspora, but largely I would say segmentation is 65 plus, right? And when we talk about the buyer, the key decision makers, these are generally the people right now in India who is typically 40 to 65 kind of an age group, right? So I think we are very specific in terms of understanding that who is a buyer and who is a consumer of the service, right? So as a vision also, when with Zorgers, while we are currently now 100% physical kind of a healthcare system at home, so the vision is to start moving more towards the preventive side, like in 22 onwards, that what we are coming up with for all that audience which is right now in a population diaspora of say 50 to 65. So how to promote an independence lifestyle for them, right? So making sure that they don't enter into a dependent kind of a stage. So a lot of technology innovation, remote monitoring is happening in that way, right? So I think so one of the important thing is being digitally very strong, right? So I think we work like NRI community and people who are settled abroad, how to make them educate about the subject if they are looking for any support in India for their parents or loved ones. So we stay connected there. Our social media is 100% focused in that way. So I think the segmentation and the online thing is the key thing for us.
That's wonderful, Varun. Sir, I would like to know from you, how is your business model, what is the business model, how is it franchise, how does a franchisee operate, and how it has helped you grow further?
Thank you, Charu. Am I clear, audible to all? Okay. So a very good afternoon to you here. My name is Ashraf Biran. I am the promoter director of a company called as Wellness Forever Medicare Private Limited. We are in the business of pharma retail. We operate close to around 300 stores in 3 states, 40 cities. That is Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka. We are a 5,000 member company right now. We have 5,000 people working in Wellness Forever. Over a period of around 12 years when we formed Wellness, I am a pharmacist by profession. I realized that there was a big gap in the market for 24/7 pharmacy stores. So all the 300 stores what we have of Wellness in the 3 states and 40 cities are day and night stores. Wellness Forever जब भी दुकान खुलता है एक day and night pharmacy खुलता है. Pharmacy is not actually only a business. Pharmacy, a day and night pharmacy specifically, is a need of a community. Because anybody among us must be aware at a time during midnight or during odd hours of the day when you need a simple medicine. It can be a very simple medicine for a chemist, but it can be life-threatening for that patient. So we are very proud to say that we are in a business of actually helping the community, serving the community at large. And the biggest proud moment for us is all our stores are 24/7. So हम रात और दिन क्या कहते हैं उसको 24 घंटे लोगों की सेवा करते हैं. During pandemic, if you realize there were very few businesses which actually were doing well. And fortunately for us, it was one of the moments where we could serve our patients very, very well. If you see, it was only a pharmacy, it was a food store, and there were those daily needs which were the only stores which were open during the peak of coronavirus happening, or at that time the epidemic was ravaging the cities. So fortunately for us, we got a chance to actually serve our customers, to serve our patients, and specifically, I don't know how many of you have ever visited a Wellness Forever store. Wellness Forever store is not a pharmacy only. It's a pharmacy along with a self-browsing format of your daily needs and whatever you need in your daily consumption. So for me, it could be a packet of Gillette drinks. For my wife, it could be a shampoo or conditioner. For my child, it could be gummies, what you would like to have, health gummies. So we are like a pharmacy, so you come, you give a prescription. The other side is a self-browsing format where you can go and pick up your daily needs and your lifestyle products. Now one thing which is very distinctive about Wellness Forever is that all our stores are 24/7 manned by pharmacists. At any given time in a Wellness Forever store, there will be a pharmacist who has been trained, who has been educated to actually give you all the information that you need on certain products or other different personal care products we are selling, or for that matter any health related nutraceuticals what we are selling in the stores. So if you go to see, during pandemic there were so many requests to us that why don't you actually offer a franchisee. Now before this session, we are right now around 15 stores we have opened in last 3 months on the franchisee part. Already 25 stores the work is going on. We are already in the progress of opening another 25 stores in 2 to 3 months. So the target of this year we had kept it around 25, but I think we should be closing at around 40. The next year target is to open around 100 franchisee stores, and I think we already have a LOI of close to around 50-60 people already submitting the letter of intent. Where I was coming from, where we are different from so many other franchisee models, is that in our model, the first thing we ask is the person who's going to invest going to be there at the shop leading the business? We are not looking for investors. We are looking for people who are entrepreneurs, who have a zeal of entrepreneurship, who have actually fire in the belly. They are there to serve the people, and they are there to see how to take the level of business to the next level. We are a privately funded company. We are recently right now going for an IPO. So the funds were never a problem for our company. But what we need is entrepreneurs. We need people who want to do business. We need people with fire in the belly. People who want to make their careers, take their own personal life to the next level. And there is a huge opportunity today in healthcare or in the business where we are driving this forward. Now let me tell you, as a company, we generally have a certain expense matrix. Certain salaries are given, certain day-to-day expenses are there, certain rent of the premises are there. But when an entrepreneur himself drives a business, he have an upside of at least 10-20% more. Because he is at the store all the time. He serves the customer all the time. He is there to manage the staff very, very effectively. And more importantly, how wellness is very distinctively different from other competitors are. We have our own product line of premium and private labels, where the margins are generally in vicinity of around 40%. So if you are aggressively going to be on the counter, you are going to personally forefront your customers, build the goodwill and push the business through, you have an excellent margin to drive the business. So I rest my point here, that's how we are looking for franchisee, but we are not purely looking for investment. Investment is the third or the fourth priority. What we are looking are for people who are entrepreneurs, who want to be actually driving the business and taking it to the next level. Yeah, over to you.
When you say that women can walk into your store and buy products, kids can come and buy products for themselves, and apart from that, you have your own private label brands also, which means you are building your own hyper-local community for the consumers. So what do you have to say about that?
So a very good question. Thank you, Charu, for asking me. I personally feel when I was listening to Varun here, he was talking about how he's trying to actually build a service station for refillment of used batteries or exhausted batteries. Now I was here, Arnab was suggesting about how patient care. So let me tell something very interesting with you guys. Last week we were actually going through the Gartner conference. How many of people here know Gartner conference? Gartners are the world leaders when it comes for information in tech and how the future businesses are going to be driven. In that, one of the biggest insights what they gave us was, in future, it is not going to be one business to one business. The best case scenario is many businesses to many businesses. So if you can just understand the potential of so many businesses coming to partner with the other businesses here, there's a huge, huge potential to collaborate. And as a franchisee, just imagine like how he was sharing two different models of business. They can be very, very easily built into a Wellness Forever model. You know the biggest USP we have? The store is 24 by 7. Just imagine if I have a small counter where the exhausted batteries are getting refilled. Ours is a 24 by 7 pharmacy. A person can come day and night and get his battery replaced. Just imagine what Anuradh you're saying. Somebody, a patient needs hospital care. He can come to our pharmacy and we can link him immediately to this. We could possibly have a dark store along with them where we can serve the need of the patient immediately. So it's like in future as we go, I can clearly see a big vision of how pharmacies, especially the day and night pharmacies, can evolve as a super duper sexy hyperlocal ecosystem play. I hope I have answered your question.
So yours is also a hyper-local concept, and I wonder, you are being a asset-light model which you have adopted. So how do you combine both the thing, and you have expanded like very rapidly within 3 to 4 years you have pan-India presence. How has it helped you to expand your presence and become a hold over the consumers?
Sure. So, I think what has really facilitated the quick adoption of Uclean and the quick expansion of Uclean is the very fact that it's a hyperlocal model. If you look at it, when somebody is giving out their clothes to a launderer today, people prefer to give it to someone who is generally located close to their place of residence. The biggest reason for that is if you look at your anything that you're wearing today, everything comes upwards of 1,000 rupees. But the value of service that Uclean is typically charging would be say 20 rupees for a shirt. So there's a huge mismatch between the value of service and the value of the product that is being serviced. And that is why the consumer constantly seeks that comfort that in case something goes wrong, I know where exactly this shop is and I can go to that shop directly. So that has also, I would say, and if you look at laundry, it is by nature, by behavior, a very hyper-local business. And your real target audience is someone that is living within 2-3 kilometer radius of the store. But that is also an advantage because if you again look at laundry business, after milk delivery, laundry has the highest consumer purchase frequency. Any family, any customer that is delighted with the nearest Uclean store or with the nearest laundry service provider tends to make it a weekly service provider. So I will, as a customer, I will have enough dirty clothes every week that I would need them to be clean. And this is where the beauty of laundry business lies. That ultimately you are not dealing with customers, you are dealing with subscribers. People who will subscribe to week on week, and that is what we focus on. That is what hyper-local nature of business has allowed us to build. And this is also what has helped us expand very quickly. So today, out of the 270 plus franchise partners that we have, almost 25% of them are invested in multiple units. So they started off with one unit, they enjoyed the business, they found that it was compellingly profitable, and that's when they consciously decided to invest in more than one unit. In fact, today we have franchise partners across multiple cities in India who are running more than 6 or 7 such units. And what we have done consciously for them is we have designed hyper-local areas. So just to give you a very simple example, South Delhi, currently in South Delhi we have a franchise partner who has 7 different units. And all of these units are strategically placed and they are all almost equidistant from where he is currently living. Which means that he is able to give enough time to all these 7 store outlets without hampering his other businesses. So I think and this is going to be the way forward also for most franchise businesses. The only way that you can determine your success is, or the biggest testimonial to the success of any hyper-local franchise concept is how many repeat franchisees do you have, or how many franchisees do you have who have invested in multiple units of yours.
True that, I second your point. So I want to know from you, you told us about the developments that you have been doing, technology perspective also. I want to delve deeper into it. What sort of technologies you have implemented till now, and how is it helping you to understand the consumers better and serve them in a better way?
So I think linking it to the idea of asset-light model that you were talking about, I think ours is a model where we typically call when you, especially in your own capacity or now with your franchise partners, you need, see, I look at this model as more like two elements. One is it is a Shadi.com of caregiving industry. You know, when you see that people who are coming to you with their requirements, they have their own preferences, right? So more than the elder or a patient, I think the family. So you know what is difference between a healthcare or I would say a hospital or a home care. आप हॉस्पिटल में होते हो ना तो आपको एक टाइम पता है कि दिन में आप सुबह एक बार पेशेंट को देख सकते हो, एक बार रात को देख सकते हो. यहाँ जब आप घर पे होते हो तो यू नो एवरीबडी इज अराउंड, ऑल ऑफ देम आर डॉक्टर्स. अच्छा तुमने नर्स ने ये कर दिया, नहीं कर दिया, अटेंडेंट ने ये कर दिया, नहीं कर दिया. सो इट्स मोर लाइक यू नो पीपल हैव देयर ओन प्रेफरेंसेस. सो इट इज अ Shadi.com of an industry, like where on one side there is a caregiver and the other side there is a care seeker. So caregiver also has its own preferences and care seeker also has its own preferences. So what Zorgers has done is to come up with this technology, right? So first is that an idea of having a fixed full-time employees does not work. You need to have people who are like on call based on the flexibility of the jobs and the assignment they have to work. So we have come up with an Android app, you know, an app specifically for caregivers. So we have almost lifted this right now this 10,000 plus caregivers who have been using this app, right? So they are available based on their, you know, the reach, the number of hours they want to engage, the skill set they have. So everything is listed out there. On the demand side, I would say people, you know, who are looking for these services, either they can come on the portal, define their requirements in the form of, you know, whether they need a 10-hour care, 12-hour care, 24 hours care, and what are the expectations out of the care. So everything comes in front, you define your requirement, and then there is a matchmaking algorithm, right? So the system allows you to find purely based on, you know, the way it would work for a Shadi.com kind of a portal. So you are able to figure out that which caregiver would make more sense for us, right? So there is, and then the whole elements of the business are completely tech driven. So it is, you know, a CRM in a very given part. So most of the lead generation is happening online, right? So when it comes of discovery of the patient, 65% of our discovery or customer acquisition happens online via the social channels, via the, you know, the Google and particular things. So that's on the demand side. On the supply side, we have an app, and on the management side or in terms of cost optimization, we have a CRM.
Technology has built to help them to bridge the gap between the caretaker and the care seeker.
Absolutely, yes. That's how you, I think like for any business, I think in our case, this is how you really reduce the cost. Because finally, see, this industry has evolved as more like, I would say, currently it has been addressing HNI or upper middle class. But if you have to move to a direction where most of the, you know, the middle class should be able to afford these nature of services, it can only come with the adoption of technology, right? That's where this, you know, the direct version of Zorgers. Today, we are largely a managed healthcare service provider backed with technology. But we envision to be more like a, you know, a marketplace kind of a model where people come, discover, you know, define their requirements, and then there are caregivers who have registered their preferences based on the skill set, based on the number of hours they want to engage. So it's more like a matchmaking.
So you were talking about how you can come together with bloggers, maybe you clean and develop a new business idea. So do you think that consolidation is on the cards going ahead in 2022 and many businesses can come together and form a new business and start a new venture in their own way?
Absolutely. Actually, just sitting here, I was thinking of one business idea I would just like to share. Because as we go forward, why 2022, 23, it can be even 21. Honestly speaking, Wellness Forever is more like a tech company selling medicines. And any business which is not going to be tech enabled or which does not have the thinking of being empowered by tech is not going to survive in the coming future. So, as recently as now, in the Gartner conference, they said one very prophetic statement, and the statement was, earlier people used to say that digital is a part of business. People used to say digital is a part of business, but now the statement is digital is business. If you are not going to be digital, you are not going to be in business. And mind you, that's not a choice. So if you go to see wellness, it's more like a tech company selling medicines. And if you must have recently seen that Apple now is going to make mobiles. And Tesla is going now to make, Tesla is going to make mobiles and Apple is going to make cars. So as we go forward, I think just wonderful idea here. I was just thinking about tying up with Uclean. There are so many people in this city who actually come at odd hours from their office to home, right? Now suppose Wellness and Uclean have a tie-up on the app. So like I want to come up and pick up my clothes, but I don't have the time and you are open to come and collect. Wellness for is a 24/7 pharmacy. So on the app, he can just say, I'll be coming and collecting this clothes, and you send it across to us and we give it to the customer. So it's like closing a hyper-local loop, closing a business need. Just an example. How we can work it out, I think we can definitely think about it. If it is tech, everything is possible. Everything is possible. So I personally feel, going forward, yes, having the tech expertise and the advantage, there are 1001 things which Wellness Forever can partner with so many partners and actually take the business to the next level. I'm super excited. There is a great, huge opportunity which we have never seen before in our life existing today in this environment. And I think I would be more happy to say that if we are in times which are going to be superbly gifting for people who want to actually have their businesses. You can't be in a better time than this.
In a way, COVID has opened a plethora of options for retailers as well as consumers. Retailers, as we discussed, have explored abstract models, B2C model, being hyper-local is the next big thing. So I want to know from both of you, what are the innovations that we can expect going ahead in 2022 with the retail industry or in the franchising point of view, which you see going ahead?
So I think to add on to Sir's point around using shared capabilities, and I'll just demonstrate a very simple example. So when you look at the logistics that a typical laundry business has, it is much more convoluted than what you would typically associate with any other delivery business. So as an example, if I talk about Zomato, when you place an order with Zomato, the delivery boy who is located closest to that particular Zomato outlet, the order automatically gets assigned to him. He does the pickup from the restaurant and does the delivery at your place and you're done. But when we talk about a business like laundry, the logistics is not so simple. So whenever a customer places an order, the order automatically gets diverted to the nearest store, and that is where the similarity with Zomato ends. Thereafter, that particular outlet is required to send the delivery boy to the customer's place to pick up the clothes, bring it back to the store, get the clothes washed, deliver it back to the customer and bring the money back to the store. So it's a four-way logistics, and that is why we have tried exploring partnerships in the past with companies like Dunzo, but the unit economics won't work for a typical Uclean order because of the four-way logistics that is involved. But what we did was that we realized that we could absolutely turn this model on its head and instead start offering hyper-local logistics services to outlets that are nearby to Uclean. So just to add to your point, sir, potentially what could also happen is that our logistic guys would also do medicine delivery for you, because they are anyway out in the neighborhood doing a clothes pickup or doing a clothes delivery. We have actually started experimenting with this model in Delhi NCR, where we are doing grocery delivery. So we are doing what Dunzo is doing. But with us, the advantage is that we are also very hyper-local in nature. So we could do the grocery pickup from the store right next to us. Our delivery boy is anyway out to do the quick pickup and delivery, so he also makes certain money for the store or for himself. So I think that is one innovation, and I totally agree that we need to think about sharing of capabilities. And fortunately, technology today is easy, technology development is easy, integration of technologies, integration of APIs is also very easy. So I feel that going forward, especially in 2022, concepts like shared capability, shared resources, and maximization of real estate, like having a FedEx inside a Uclean store, would actually make the business more lucrative, both from a brand perspective as well as from a franchisee perspective.
Definitely, Arnab. I would like to know from you also.
I think again, as an extension to what both of them are saying, I totally agree. And see, hearing both sides of the story, so you look, we are already serving the families who are either living alone, like say there is an elder or a patient. So there is such a high degree of dependence of even getting, pharmacy at home, right? So anyways, we have, our people out there like the nurses, attendants, who are serving these and my customers. They're always. So for us, the pharmacy we are currently also doing, and having such kind of alliances makes it even more lucrative. And on the other side, laundry is much bigger challenge. हमारे यहाँ तो सबसे बड़ा पंगा ये है कि nurse would say कि अच्छा मुझे कपड़े तो नहीं धोने हैं, right? So then you have a Uclean maybe for that kind of a model. So that integration of resources is definitely very much possible and viable, and it has to be done because all of us are tech-enabled, all tech-enabled companies. So those can always be done, and it is in the right spirit of making, and it increases your customer wallet share as well, right? So because when you are doing and you are serving a particular customer for one reason, all these integrations help you increase the wallet share.
What I have learned today that the spirits of the brands are still high despite the fact that Omicron is on our heads almost. But let's hope for the best and open the questions for the audience. We are ready. Nice to see that the speakers were very clear and they have explained everything in a very nice way. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that definitely was an extremely insightful discussion. And before we take this to an end, I would request our ma'am to kindly give away the mementos. Yes, can we please have the mementos on stage? Thank you so much, Aruna. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to a pit stop of the Day 1 conference. But well, it's not over. We do request you to make time now to go towards the summit, and you can enjoy the summit. Also, please make sure to be here at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to once again extend our heartfelt gratitude and a heartfelt thank you to all our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Drip Factory. Our associate partners, Remax India, Zorgas, Euclid. This show has been organized by Franchise India Group, the official portal